Hello and welcome to podcast number 1, brought to you by On the Hunt Collectibles and FOE 19 Studios. This is Con Artists, and this is your host Maestro with his brother Dan. Speak into the microphone, Dan.
Otherwise, you point at
Dan.
And whoever these people are.
If you're still listening, Thor bless you. Anyway, this is podcast number 1, and hopefully we're going to talk about something important. No, probably not.
Hasn't happened yet.
Well, we're 43 seconds in, and we've already lost whatever fans we'll have for the next, 6 months.
Both of them are still listening.
Yeah, I mean, anyway, so...
Thanks, Kurt.
Yeah. So, anyway, a few weeks ago, we just did TerrorCon in Providence, Rhode Island. First year for the show, and what did we think?
It sucked.
What? It didn't suck. It was actually pretty good, but...
It'll probably be the last year.
Well, that's... I'm sure they'll call it something else. What do you think?
It's definitely not.
Well, as the doctor, I think it was a little bit sickly. I think the first year really was suffering, and I'm not sure they'll come back and do another one. But they had some decent guests. Dee Snider was pretty awesome.
Yes, he was. And the cosplay guests are always great. You had Nicole Jean there. You had Destiny Nicholson, Leanna Vamp. You also had Kane Hodder, who's always awesome.
When he's not punching you in the chest.
Yeah, he did punch me in the chest at Rock and Shock, and I will always treasure that memory.
And the bruise.
And the bruise, yes. Man, that's what I got to do to get an autograph. He actually took $5 off my autograph, but that was before he punched me in the chest. So, a $5 punch in the chest, I would say.
Worth it.
Yeah. The Demon Glenn, yes. And for you, Glenn. For those of you who don't know who the Demon Glenn is, he goes by another name known as Kane in the WWE. He was there day 2. We actually didn't see him.
Demon King?
The Demon Kane. Yeah, that's what he's called now, the Demon Kane. Not the big red machine or the big red monster, just Kane. It's the Demon Kane.
And thank God, not Corporate Kane anymore.
Yeah, that'd be creepy. Yeah, but who else was there?
We won't talk about that.
Oh,
With Linda Blair,
Linda-
Michael Jai White.
yep, Linda Blair, Michael J. White.
Spawn!
The guy that played T-Dog was there.
T-Dog. Was he?
Yeah. Wasn't he? Yes.
Okay, from Walking Dead?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take your word for it anyway. Also, oh God, what's it? Lita Ford?
Lita Ford was there. Cherry Curry was there. Yeah, they were pretty awesome and still looking amazing.
Yeah, a lot of old school metal people. I was kind of bummed that Michael Biehn was not going to be there, but
yeah.
there's always another chance. But
They gotta be careful when they get Walking Dead people, because you gotta get specific people, because you can't have Zombie number 3, because that's just like Stormtrooper number 22. You can't.
Zombie number 3 and Stormtrooper 22 were both awesome and amazing.
yes, and they were very fine actors. I'm sure they went on to do great things.
Wasn't he the one who?
Get out your gum, Dan.
Wasn't he the one who banged his head on the door in the first 2 seconds of A New Hope?
No, it was the scene. Crap! When they're all coming into the control room with the 2 droids are hiding, and the door opens, all of a sudden it's like the dude bangs his head off the side. Well, that's something I wanted to mention. So they're filming Star Wars Episode 7, and
help us.
Harrison Ford breaks his leg.
I think he did it on purpose. He
Hey.
didn't want this movie to succeed.
Mark Hamill got into a car accident at the beginning of Empire Strikes Back, so
Yeah.
just have Harrison Ford get beaten up by a wampa
But
and everything
that's
will be
not
good.
when you tell someone, "Oh, you're filming Star Wars, break a leg." That's not what they meant.
No.
It really isn't.
I think this is such a monstrosity. Even the gods are making accidents happen, so this movie does not get made.
That happened in another movie. Exorcist. Just out of curiosity, is your thing? Yes, it is. Okay.
Yeah, let's make sure the microphones are all on.
Yeah, because that'd be funny if people hear us. Oh, what are they laughing at? I didn't hear anything. But
We
Wow.
haven't been on at all, and it's been recording for however many minutes. And it's just
4 minutes and
silent.
29
Like,
seconds.
we're
Yeah.
on a friggin' bowl over
Four,
here.
4
Yeah,
minutes
we're
and
all-
29 seconds and everything. Oh, there's an on switch.
Well, there's this little green thing that kind of fluctuates when you talk into it, so that's a good thing.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Yep,
did
I'm
that
getting
already.
a green fluctu thing.
Fluxu. Aeon.
We're gonna have to bleep that.
No, it's like aeon fluctuations.
I couldn't watch that whole movie.
The movie is good. It's the show that was a little screwy.
Oh, I never knew there was a show.
There was also a comic book.
Oh, okay. Yeah. touchdown?
No.
That's all right. They missed.
I think that was a photon torpedo.
Oh.
I thought it was a stormtrooper. If you got nothing to say.
Bonanza! There, I said something.
If you're still listening, you truly are a true believer. Dude, put it on the Hall's bag or something. Oh, God. Dude, for those of you who watch the WWE, if anybody watched Raw Monday, there's this guy out there called Bo Dallas. Is that his name? Bo?
Sure.
Bo Dallas. And he came out and said, "Don't stop Bo leaving." And I swear to God, I don't want to live on this planet anymore. But anyway.
Wait a minute. So he's lame and he had to make a journey quote?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, speaking of which, Doctor, first day of TerraCon, you dressed up as you got there as Zombie Doctor? No, not Zombie Doctor.
It was Tim Burton's version of the Doctor.
Which was
And it did not go too well. First attempt at makeup, and gonna have to work on that.
good try. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But I was more impressed. Day 2, you showed up as Walking Dead enthusiast Philip Brooks.
Yes, indeed. Walking Dead enthusiast Phil Brooks. However, I did not bring the ice cream bars that I intended. Johnny Ruckus actually was really cool about that. He stopped me so that he could play my music off of Destiny's Proton Pack.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. Destiny Nicholson, she was dressed up as a Ghostbuster, and her Proton Pack played music. And they didn't just play Cult of Personality, they played CM Punk's theme music. And for those of you who don't know who the hell we're talking about CM Punk. His real name is Phil Brooks. Anyway.
Walking Dead enthusiast.
Walking Dead enthusiast Philip Brooks.
His real first name is Vincent.
What? Or we could call him Mr. AJ Lee now.
AJ's having a baby.
That hasn't been confirmed.
It has been confirmed.
No, it has not.
That's why they think they rushed into getting married, because AJ's pregnant. In personal opinion, it's only a matter of time before they announce Brie Bella's pregnancy. Because she hasn't been in a physical match in over 2 months, and that was before she quit.
True. That actually brings me to another point. I do want to talk about the CM Punk situation. Now, if AJ Lee is pregnant, not coming back. But everything leading up to this, it bothers me. Because I watched an interview. You can actually find it on YouTube. It was from UFC. What's the guy's name?
Actually, I don't remember.
You know,
I did watch the interview, but I can't remember his name for the life of me right now.
yeah, I can't remember either. But it was like done like literally days before the Royal Rumble. And CM Punk, the way it sounded, he had no intentions of leaving the company. He said, when they were talking about the WWE Network and how it was going to affect his paycheck and stuff like that, he said, I don't know, ask me in a few months, with the pay-per-view buy rates. And he said he was having fun and whatnot and blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, so something happened between that and the night of the Royal Rumble that caused CM Punk to leave. Now, there are multiple theories about what really happened. No, and the thing that bugs me the most is nobody has said a word. There's 3 people who know what happened. CM Punk, Vince McMahon, and Triple H. And not one of them has said anything about it.
It's probably contract stuff. They probably can't say anything.
But it's like, and people compare it to the Stone Cold Steve Austin walkout back in 2002. But there are subtle differences, not that it really matters. But CM Punk showed up for work Monday and talked to Vince face-to-face, and I will give him props for that. I will never take anything away from Stone Cold Steve Austin. As far as I'm concerned, he's still one of the best there ever was. But what I find interesting is when Vince McMahon was asked about it at the press conference for WWE Network, all he said was CM Punk was taking a sabbatical. So take that for what it's worth.
That's become a pretty broad term.
Well, that's just it. It's like nobody has officially come out and said he's quit or he's taking time off. Because I remember in that interview I was talking about earlier, he did mention about how he hasn't really had any time off in years. But I also heard some other information that I thought was interesting. I was reading an interview with Kevin Nash, and I get most of my resource for backstage WWE or wrestling in general information from WrestleZone.com. And I remember Kevin Nash was saying how leading up to the Royal Rumble that CM Punk was suffering from a back injury. He was using icy hot and heating pads on his back on a fairly regular basis. And when he asked him, how bad is it? CM Punk said, I don't know, I haven't gotten my MRI yet. So I feel like there's a bigger story going on here, and I'm sure we'll learn about it someday. I'm sure somebody will finally come out and say, because CM Punk just recently kind of came out of hiding. Like, he reactivated his Twitter account. He's doing a lot of charity events. He's doing some interviews. Like, there's actually an interview he did with, I can't remember the guy's name. It's Moran, I think, that I haven't had a chance to listen to. But I feel like we don't know the whole story, and until we do, I feel like we're just speculating.
That's the thing. It is off speculation right now, and like you said, the only people that really know what happened are Phil, Vince, and Paul. They're the only ones that actually know what's going on, and all anybody's doing is speculating. I think the people that are saying, oh, Punk's being selfish, he's, playing the egotist, I think those are the people that are the most on the outside. They're the most in the wrong because he just doesn't do that sort of thing. He's kind of like the Dustin Pedroia of wrestling. He does it for the business. He doesn't do it for a huge paycheck. He doesn't do it for a ton of money. He does it because he loves to do it.
But I think it's also such a big deal because nobody knows the real story. Like, if he's injured, that's one, scenario. But, like, when Stone Cold went out, when Daniel Bryan went out, when John Cena went out with injury, like, they came out and and said, like, I'm going to be out for a while because I have a elbow injury. I'm going to be out for a while. I have to get neck surgery. So I think that's if they gave us a reason, I don't think people would be nearly as interested as they are.
The other thing, too, like, when Stone Cold Steve Austin did this back in 2002, he didn't admit, like, I don't think anybody even knew until after he came back and the night after WrestleMania, his last match, he actually said that one of the reasons he left was because he had neck surgery years ago from when Owen Hart broke his neck. And he was having health problems. Like, I don't remember exactly what was going on, but he was having problems with, like, nerve issues and stuff with his legs. And with all the baloney that was going on in the WWE with the writing change, basically he just said, I can't do this anymore, and he up and quit. But here's the thing, and this is why another reason why I feel like there's more to the story is because Stone Cold Steve Austin will say to this day, it's the biggest mistake he ever made. If he could change anything in his career, he says he would have gone back and handled that whole situation much differently. So that's why I feel like CM Punk's smarter than that. Not to say Stone Cold's stupid. I just feel like CM Punk knows so much about the business that he wouldn't just come into work and say, screw you, Vince, screw you, Paul, I'm going home, I'm not coming back. But, and it's like, that actually brings me to another thing. They've fired a lot of people recently.
Yeah, like, something's going on with the company. It's like,
well, I know Vince, there was a stock drop, and he actually lost like $325 million. Like, and I know they fired Brodus Clay, Kurt Hawkins.
Yep. One of the divas, too,
Drew
Natalia. Pretty much
Jinder
all
Mahal.
of CM.
Two-thirds of three-man band just went right out the door.
Yep. There was a whole list. I know they were going to actually fire more. They also fired, what was it, Josh Matthews?
Something like that.
He was that guy who got beat up on Tough Enough by Hardcore Holly, and he won, but he didn't become a wrestler. He became
a jobber anyway.
Kinda. He became an announcer on the WWE, so we didn't really actually wrestle. So I almost feel like they did that because of what happened on the show.
Which would make sense, but the company itself, it's like granted, you used to pay $50 a month to watch a pay-per-view. Now you pay $10 a month, you have the WWE Network, you can watch all this stuff. So it's almost like they're not even trying to make the pay-per-views worthwhile anymore because they're not making that much money off them anymore. Every pay-per-view we've watched in the past 3 months have just been carbon copies of each other.
Basically.
Whether it's a big one or a small one. It's the same matches. 3 pay-per-views in a row. It was John Cena versus Bray Wyatt. 3 in a row. Like, granted, it was different scenarios. There was a regular match, then a cage match, then a last man standing match. But, like, how many times are you going to replay the same match? Even now coming up. It's like John Cena and Bray Wyatt. They're in a match versus each other. It's the same thing.
It's the Money in the Bank ladder match for the title, but they're going to focus on each other. Roman Reigns and Randy Orton are probably going to focus on each other, and whoever the hell else is in that match is probably going to focus on it. But it's the same thing. Like there's 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches happening. There's the one for the championship,
and
then the Money in the Bank, and both Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose are going to be beating the crap out of each other in that match.
Is that a match?
No, but they're in the ladder match
Oh,
together.
they
They added Dean Ambrose to the ladder match because Seth Rollins basically said, "Listen, I need to be able to see him."
And I hate that they dismantled the Shield. Like, Seth Rollins leaving, that was like, oh my God, he's leaving the Shield. But now they're kind of just just letting Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose go their separate ways. Like they're not even trying to keep that aspect together. They're kind of just like letting them float apart.
They didn't
and
announce. They just all of a sudden Dean Ambrose had different music.
Yeah.
And it was like, and it
that's what it
kind of sucks. I understand why they split up the Shield, and I'm excited because it's like I love Roman Reigns. I like Dean Ambrose. I even like Seth Rollins. I think they all have a lot of potential.
Right.
But
it kind of ran its
the
course.
Shield was just, but it was going so big. And the problem I have with the storyline is Seth Rollins. They beat Evolution 2 pay-per-views in a row. So don't get me wrong. I understand it's fake. I understand it's scripted. But I try to understand why they do this. Because all of a sudden Seth Rollins jumps ship from the Shield and joins Evolution. It's like, why? You just joined the losing side.
As a Blutista.
Blutista.
Well, yeah, basically, Batista didn't quit. He's basically going to promote Guardians of the Galaxy.
In Smurfs 3.
Wow.
Okay,
And Smurfs
so
3, yes.
this is a public service announcement. We promise eventually this podcast will go back to conventions and comics and everything. This will not be renamed the WWE Sucks podcast.
But I'm surprised.
I thought we were naming it that.
I'm surprised that podcast doesn't already exist.
I need a beer. Anybody want a beer?
Yeah, I'll take
Hashtag Bobby G.
one. Hashtag Bobby G. What? I do want to talk a little bit about what? The Wrath of Khan. Is that what you want to go as? Oh, you know what's funny? I was actually watching the episode of Futurama earlier with the cast of Star Trek.
What's left of them?
Well, Welshie was there. You know what the funny thing is I know there's probably a lot of nerds out there who hate me for that. I'm sure that glowing gas thing was probably from an episode of Star Trek.
It was probably from a couple episodes because that's all they could afford.
Well, and people can understand. I grew up watching Next Generation. There are very few old movies and TV shows that I can watch. Like, for example, I love Godzilla, King of the Monsters, but I cannot watch the old Star Trek TV show. I love the movies. I love Next Generation. And actually, that's about it. But yeah. But I might be able to watch the, what is it? You said they digitally remastered the original series.
Yeah, the Star Trek, if you like Netflix or the new stuff, or even if you buy the new box set, the DVD box set, they digitally enhanced all the ship scenes, all the space scenes.
Did William Shatner ask to be digitally
the Gorn
enhanced?
blinks,
The what?
that green lizard thing that's always associated with Star Trek.
Oh, speaking of the Green Lizard.
Yeah. See, he knows what the Gorn is.
Yeah, Gorn. Everybody knows Gorn. I mean, come on. It's one of the most famous battle scenes from Star Trek.
Yeah.
He's going to be at one of the, I think he's going to be at Rhode Island Comic Con. I know they showed a picture of him
The
in
Gorn
costume.
is?
Yeah, I don't know if it's Rhode Island Comic Con or
He's
South
still
Coast.
alive?
If Lurch is still alive. But hell, William Shatner's going to be there at Rhode Island Comic Con in November.
Which means we could see a repeat of Kirk versus Gorn. That
We
could
could also
happen.
see a repeat of Adam West at Rhode Island Comic Con 2013.
Yeah, that's never going to happen.
Certainly hope not. That was terrible.
Yeah, Adam West. Anyway, but if the Gorn and Captain Kirk do have a fight at Rhode Island Comic Con, it'll probably involve walkers with little tennis balls on the feet.
But somebody's got to be standing by with a keyboard to play the Dr. Zoidberg's Homeworld theme.
Dr. Zoidberg Homer. Speaking of random themes, I actually just learned the other day. You remember the scene in the new Godzilla movie where they're parachuting out of that plane to get down to the city?
The Halo drop, yeah.
Hey, you had your chance. You know what? The music they were playing during that scene. You know what that was?
There was music.
Yeah, you have to. It's the same music they played in the teaser trailer that had that scene in it. It's the music from 2001, the Monolith.
Really?
Yeah, it's the same music. Now, I'm sure they changed it, but I was reading an article that said it's actually a throwback to the old 2001.
But think about it. I mean, think about this. Aliens, the second one. Okay.
Yeah.
Think about the music they played when they were escaping LV-426 before the whole thing went nuke.
That music got used in so many trailers after that.
Yeah. I mean, what is it? Braveheart. No, not Braveheart. Dragonheart. All right, that theme music got used in so many different trailers.
There's a lot of them like that. We're being mocked.
They've basically started their own podcast over
Yeah,
there. And I don't know what it's about.
I'm not sure they know what it's about.
We're going to start our own podcast with blackjack and hookers You know what?
Forget
Forget the
the
podcast. Screw the whole thing. But what were we talking about? Aliens. And yeah, there's a lot of
Yes, that theme. Our
But
sound guy.
I can actually think of one. There's a song. Wow. Anyway, there's a song. It was in the movie Backdraft. It was actually one of my favorite songs on the soundtrack.
Yeah.
It was used in the trailer for The Lost World.
Yes. Yes, I do know what you're talking about.
One of the good Jurassic Park sequels.
Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Everything I
No,
do.
not that one.
Not that one.
But a lot of the music in that they'll use for all kinds of trailers. They'll use a lot of
Big muscle Smurf flowers. Oh, Dan wasn't here for that paper.
I don't even know where to go with that one.
That's right. You weren't here. We were watching. Back to the WWE, unfortunately. What was the pay-per-view? Payback.
Yeah.
And Batista was in these bright blue tights
And boots.
and boots.
Wearing his bright blue booties.
I'm so glad I didn't see this.
Yeah, it was Blue Tista was #1 on Twitter that night. But anyway, before we got off track, I do want to talk about.
No, that's the cosplay department.
That's what I want to talk about.
That's what we're actually getting back to.
I'm trying to get back to that without offending anybody. And if any cosplayers out there, I respect what you do, and please do not take anything you hear on this seriously. We have been drinking. Anyway, but no.
I did want to mention though, I wasn't looking at the proton pack,
You know what? Oy vey.
and nobody else was either.
But anyway, I do want to talk about some of the costumes I saw there. There was like the first day, there was like Jason Fest.
Yeah.
There was like a group of guys. They were like dressed as 5 or 6 different Jason Voorhees. Pulled off very well actually. But my favorite was Freddy Krueger Deadpool.
Yes, Freddy
that-
Deadpool was fantastic.
Yes. You've seen a lot more of that. You see a lot more of the crossover.
And that's fine. I mean, I'm trying to remember some cosplay crossovers from the past. They've had some very interesting ones. Like I think there was a crap. I'm trying to remember. I've seen usually Deadpool.
Yeah, Deadpool is a popular crossover. I remember Rhode Island Comic Con 2013. There was Sonic Deadpool.
Yes,
Made his rounds.
I remember Sonic Deadpool.
There was that Silent Hill nurse.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
nurse, the faceless nurse.
two of 'em.
There was a couple of them, and there was also a couple of Pyramid Heads. Those,
Pyramid
I
Head
love
was there.
those costumes.
A lot of Walking Dead. A lot of Walking Dead.
Yes. Well, I feel like it was a horror-themed convention, so you're going to have a lot of horror. There was actually a guy there dressed as Freddy Krueger who did a really good job. Like, you could hear him doing, like, the Freddy Krueger laugh, like, 3 hours over. And it was like, that was awesome.
Yeah, I'm not sure he ever broke character.
No, he was
It-
coming up behind people and like putting like the blade. No, the Freddy guy. He was coming up behind people and like putting his blade like to their neck and making fun little quips like the real Freddy does. Like that guy all damn day. He was
And you know what?
in character.
The funny thing, it sucks. I try to follow any cosplayer I can on Facebook because how many times have I seen the same person and they're a completely different character? Like there was that guy. First time I saw him was at Boston Super Mega Fest. And what are we looking at? Yes.
Bringing up pictures of Freddy Deadpool sneaking up behind Light Up Deadpool with a knife. So it was Deadpool photobombing Deadpool. It was pretty spectacular to watch. Meanwhile, Darth Vader was behind me making funny
he
gestures.
was a crossover too. It was Darth Vader. What else was it? I have
Was it Darth Vader and Batman?
No.
Oh, Darth Punisher. Yes.
Yeah.
But I also I love there was also a oh my God, Ghost Rider there. I love Ghost Rider costumes. I love seeing because it's a kind of a hard costume to do, and I've seen a lot of people that will do the skull, but they won't do the flames. I feel like it takes away. But the different ways that people do the flames, like there was actually one we saw at Mega Fest last year. There was a
female Ghost Rider that had done her hair as the flames and did an amazing job of it. And it was all body paint and whatnot to get the skeleton look, including the bones going down her neck. I mean, that was pretty.
What I thought was cool too is because when we saw her, because I think you and I both took her picture, it was like, oh my God, Ghost Rider. She's like, thank you. Nobody gets it. It's like nobody could. People looked at it. They just thought she was like some crazy skull lady with red hair. They didn't get. I was like, no, it's Ghost Rider.
Anybody who reads, who's looked at who's stepped foot in a comic book shop, should know who Ghost Rider is.
Well, I've said this many times. I have not read a lot of comics. I only read specific comics. When I was a kid, the comics, I didn't get groups of comics or series of comics. I got like, oh, here's a random Spider-Man comic. Here's a random Batman comic. But even I know.
Yeah. Like, you may not have read it, but if I said Witchblade,
Yes.
you know who Witchblade is.
Yes.
I say Lady Death, yeah, you know who Lady Death is. Or,
Spawn, Gen 13.
Spawn, Gen 13.
Dawn.
Yeah, exactly.
We could go on and on and on. But I mean, you got the obvious, Wolverine, Thor,
Yeah.
Spider-Man, Punisher.
Maybe we should also like mention here that because we all because this is the first podcast and everything, we all kind of bring something to this, and the Doc over here is our resident cosplayer.
Yeah, who was very good at it, I might
Yeah,
add.
Doc, yeah, he brought the beer.
yeah.
Yeah.
His lady paid for that beer.
He's probably a lady friend.
You're an add-on. You're the doctor's companion. That's how
Yeah.
you got into
He
this.
brings the cosplay aspect. These two apparently bring the sock puppet aspect.
Well, she was also my wife's maid of honor, and my wife's one of the founders of this company. So I'll have to give her a little bit.
I'm
Yeah.
a very
My-
important piece in your life, whether you like it or not.
Dan here's the art department.
Dan
Yeah.
looks like
If you see FOE 19 Studios anywhere,
It's my
that's
fault.
him. That's him.
Bruce, the planogram man.
Yeah, and also
Yeah.
my cat over here is the
My favorite token.
planogram manager.
With no hair, you do look like Uncle Fester, and I don't mean that as a bad thing.
Dude,
Oh,
we
I-
did a.
I did the picture like 10 seconds after I cut my hair. 10 seconds after I cut my hair, I did the whole light bulb in the mouth thing, and with Photoshop I pulled it off.
That would be a great cosplay for you. Just get like just an all brown robe and walk around with a light bulb in your mouth.
Even if it's just a brown trench coat.
Yeah.
Well, everybody who saw the Voldemort I tried to do said looks more like Uncle Fester.
Well, you know what? Speaking of Uncle Fester, like MegaFest last year, Christopher Lloyd was there, and I thought about, because I have the Addams Family poster in my living room. I thought, oh, that'd be so cool, but then I realized that, Gomez is dead. I don't know, and most of these cast members will never do a convention, so I feel like I'd get Christopher Lloyd's autograph on there, and then that would be it.
Yeah, that's
I could have gotten Lurch's at Terracon, who was there.
one
Well,
lonely
see,
name.
you mentioned that. You didn't get Christopher Lloyd's autograph on the poster because you probably never get any of the others. I actually have Christopher Lloyd's autograph on my copy of Clue, even though I know I'll never get Madeline Kahn, and I probably won't get any of the others. It's if you get them, you get them. If you don't, hey, you still have Christopher Lloyd's autograph on some.
True, but I'm more. Well, I'm not much of an autograph person. I do have a collection of autographs. I just like meeting the people. You know what I mean? Like some of my greatest experiences. And I find it kind of odd. Like I remember one time, years and years and years ago. My brother and I used to do these shows like MegaFest, or whatever, under a different banner. We were called Lockdown Collectibles. If you remember them, God bless you. But I remember one time we were sitting there setting up. It was day 2 of MegaFest, and Anthony Daniels, who played C-3PO, comes to our booth, and we literally just shot the breeze with him for a good 10,
Yeah.
15 minutes. And it's funny because I've met so many people who say, "Oh, he's kind of a jerk." I'm just like, I chatted with him for 15 minutes, and I didn't pay to do it. He came to our booth, and we were chatting. And it's like he's one of the coolest guys I ever met. We also met and it was actually at a different MegaFest. It was
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
the guy who plays Jango Fett.
Jango Fett, yeah.
Also an awesome guy.
Yes.
And I know what you think. Well, if he's that awesome, I can't remember his name. I'm terrible with names. I don't
Yeah.
remember half the names of the people in this room right now. Yeah.
On the subject of people that, everybody says, oh, they're kind of, they're stuck up or they're a dick or whatever. Hulk Hogan. I got to meet Hulk Hogan at New York Comic Con last year, and this was the end of the day. He was actually on his way out the door, and I paid for his autograph earlier in the day. Had to go back several times to try and meet him because the line was just so long. He's on his way out the door. They bring the picture to him to have him sign it. He actually came back to the table, shook my hand, and we shot the breeze for probably 10 minutes. And it ended with him asking me to take a picture with him. So, I mean, anybody that says he's a dick is probably one themselves, simply because, this is a guy who was on his way out the door and turned around to come back and meet a fan. Like, a dick doesn't do that. A dick just signs something and walks out the door.
But
Go ahead.
I think that you gotta figure that celebrities, yeah, people look at them like, oh, these are my icons and everything. But they're people, just like us. Maybe they got more money than us, a lot more money than us.
Yeah.
But you got to figure they got their good days and bad days
Exactly.
too. You can catch.
On one leg at a time too.
Exactly. You could catch. It's like David Tennant, Doctor Who. I bet you you could meet him at one convention where he's all excited to meet the fans. He could be the greatest guy in the world, and then you could find another day where his dog just died or something, and
I remember there was actually a story a while back. It was about John Cena. He had just gotten divorced from his wife, and a guy saw him on the bus and was like, "Hey, man, can I have a picture and autograph?" And Cena was like, "Listen, man, I'm just trying to get home." That guy went on Twitter and said, "Oh, John Cena's a scumbag and all this crap, blah, 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 blah." The next day, he actually went on and apologized because he realized that the reason John Cena was like that is because he literally just left divorce court.
yeah, they're people.
Everybody has a bad day. I remember a few years back, oh, God, probably back in 2004, maybe. I met the Macho Man Randy Savage. And he's another one where people are like, oh, he can be kind of a jerk. I remember we got there. It was at the FYE, the Kingston Mall in Kingston, Massachusetts. And my buddy walks in. He has the old Macho Man Bash 'em Buddy doll. And the guy's like, no, he just released a rap album. It's like, the only way you can get his autograph is you had to buy the rap album. It's like, all right, whatever. I actually have the picture hanging up in my office over there. And they're like, he's not going to sign anything else. And my buddy goes up to the Bash 'em Buddy. He's like, oh, let me see that. I'll sign that for you. And he signed that, too, And I got up there and I was like, how's it going? He's like, how's it going, brother? And shook my hand. I was like, oh my God, this guy's scary. But he was so cool. I mean, it's like, it's the Macho Man Randy Savage, And it was funny because I remember just a few years ago I got Edge's autograph. And it was funny because while I was there, it suddenly hit me. Holy crap, I got both the Slim Jim guys' autograph. Because he was the Slim Jim guy a few years ago, after Macho Man, of course. But I love Edge, but he'll never be Macho Man.
But it is. They're just like any other group of people and everything. They got their good days, they got their bad days, and if you catch somebody on a bad day.
Well, the problem is, I feel like there's a lot of people who will push celebrities' buttons.
Well, not only that,
On
there's
purpose.
the wrong time to ask somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't go up to a cosplayer while they're at lunch and half their costume is on the chair next to them and ask them to take a picture.
Yeah.
Then they got to put all that stuff back on while their food's getting cold. You don't go up to a celebrity in the bathroom, although people do, and ask them for an autograph. That's the wrong time. So yeah, you're probably going to get a bad reaction. You're probably going to get a little bit of an attitude because why did you pick that time to ask for something?
Basically, yeah. I mean, I remember when oh God, what was his name? It was a Patriot player.
Drew.
No. I don't get me started on Drew Bledsoe. But oh God, Mike Vrabel. He used to eat at the Charlie Horse in West Bridgewater all the time, and I was eating there before, and I saw him there, and he would walk around and say, "Hi, how you doing?" Everybody's like, "Oh, you should go to his autograph." It's like he's eating dinner with his family.
Yeah.
I mean, and he was a cool guy. He probably would give me an autograph and a picture, but it's like I'm not gonna bother him while he's trying to eat he's out with his wife and kids. I'm not gonna be that guy.
No, exactly. That customer who won't leave while the store's closed.
Exactly.
Pretty much half the population of Boston.
Oh, no, I could do a whole podcast about stupidity in retail. By the way,
That'll be podcast number 3.
I do have a Facebook page out there. It's called Stupid Stuff You See Working in Retail. If you find it, like it. I don't post very often, but every time I post a lot of things that anybody who's worked in retail will get. Just the stupid little things. But like I said, we could do a whole podcast about that. I won't get into that today. But like I said, it's all about catching people at the right time. But once again, getting back to cosplays at Terracon. Here's a funny story for you. So I'm walking through, and I remember I went up to Nicole Jean's booth, and I walked by. This was day 2. She was dressed as Hannibal Lecter. She did an amazing job, by the way. But she had like blood coming out of her mouth, and she had this little it looked like a piece of a rubber mask. It was like of somebody's face, like kind of like she could chew on it, like as she was in character. I walked by her booth, and she was eating lunch. And I remember just I had to double take, because all I see is blood in the mouth. She's dressed as Hannibal Lecter, and she's eating. And I was like, what is she eating? I mean, I just had to look wait, what? But I mean, I think it was just a salad or something. But still, it's one of those situations where, whoa, wait, what?
Not a banana.
Oh my God, banana.
Started on Eliza Dushku,
Bananas are high in potassium.
who's newly single.
Yeah, you heard that, right?
My
Yeah.
wife is the one who told me about that.
Yeah, she told me about that too. I don't want to talk about it. But that was, you know what? That's another highlight of the show because both
Soon to be a restraining order.
during Terracon, and I'm such a fanboy because I follow, especially for cosplay people. I think they're just so good at what they do. I remember Nicole Jean was actually shopping at my booth, and so was Leanna Vamp. And all I could say was, "Hey, how we doing today?" You know, it's like, what do I do? What do I say? You know, it's like
Sit there like,
yeah. But I mean, it's funny because they say on Facebook all the time, "Oh, you guys should come over to the booth, say hi." And I'm just like, "But what do we talk about?" That's the biggest problem. Like I remember, I actually met. Well, for lack of a better term, I actually met Nicole and Spencer Doe at MegaFest 2012, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Dressed as Bane and Batman. Both did an amazing job. And then I started following my Facebook afterward. Now that I feel like they've been at every show I've gone to. Actually, I did not see Spencer this year, but there's just so many good ones. And it's like I try to. There's so many I follow, and it's like I remember. I think Gina B cosplay was at MegaFest last year because I remember I found out afterwards she was dressed as Zool. And I was bummed because I remember saying, because I remember I saw Gozer, I saw a bunch of Ghostbusters, and wanted to do that like Slimer on his pack. It looked really good. I was like, I've never seen a really good Zool costume. Then I found out afterwards she was actually dressed as Zool, and she did like a whole photo shoot there, and I never saw her. So I sent her a message like, where were you? I had a booth. I was there all day, both days. Where were you? But I think she lives in New York though. I don't know how often she gets back up here. But
we should, probably mention. You said you were at your booth and everything. We should probably mention that that about your store.
Well, yeah, on the hunt, collectibles or comics and collectibles, depending on which flyer you get. We're at Terracon this year. We actually will be at South Coast Toy and Comic Show on August 2nd, down in Fairhaven, Massachusetts. It's kind of a little show. It's a one-day show, but it's actually a really good show. I did it last year. I had a lot of fun. There's cosplayers, there's celebrity guests. Actually, who's going to be there this year?
I'm honestly not sure.
I know John Cena Sr. is going to be there. I know
I'm still trying to figure that one out.
I don't. The puppeteer from Gremlins, and he did also the Star Wars movies, I think. Shakti, the woman that plays Shakti in episode. Was she in episode? I know she was in episode 3.
She was in episode 2. I want to say she was in episode 3.
Well, I know she was.
No, I want to say her scenes got cut from episode 3, but she was a big part of episode 2 and then the cutting room floor of episode 3.
Well, she's the only Jedi who's actually died 3 times in the Star Wars universe. Well, her 2 deleted scenes in episode 3, she was killed by General Grievous. They said, no, we'll cut that. Then she was killed again by Anakin. They cut that. So she actually didn't die until The Force Unleashed.
Yeah.
So, so she's going to be there. I'm actually really excited about that. I don't know who else is going to be there. I don't think they've really announced any other guests so far. But anyway, that's Fairhaven, Massachusetts. I think it's from 10 to 5. It's actually a pretty good show. Also, it's not confirmed yet, but we plan on having our FOE 19 Studios booth there in Artist Alley. As soon as that information is confirmed, I will post it on the website and on the Facebook page. And you want to add anything, Dan?
I'll have art. No, I hope to have if we can manage it, I hope to have some new prints, new artwork for those who know my artwork, which is a handful of people that I can count on one hand. I do comic characters, all kinds of different artwork. You can see my stuff on the Hunt's website or on my Facebook page at facebook.com/FOE19. I take commissions. I do all kinds of artwork.
Speaking of your artwork, where the hell is my steampunk Ariel that I've been waiting for like 3 months, bro?
Hey, I got people waiting years for Care Bears.
I'm important.
But yeah, hopefully he'll have a booth there. We're also going to be at. Oh, sorry. Here's your bottle opener, sir. Why don't you have a Sonic bottle opener?
It's not for me.
Yeah, but it's like I left this convention sonically screwed.
It doesn't do bottle caps. Or
Rubbish.
or jerky.
But anyway, we're going to be at South Coast in August. We will not be at Boston Comic Con. I regret to say. Hopefully next year.
For those people who did get the reference and who are drooling, one more month until Doctor Who returns.
Whoa. We were also September right now. We don't. The only show we're planning on being is there's a little outdoor fair they do in West Bridgewater called Park Day. We usually have a booth there, but we'll be the only booth there that sells our kind of merchandise.
Yep.
We are also signed up. We will be at Rhode Island Comic Con in November, first weekend in November, and we will also be at the newly named New England Super Mega Fest Comic Con in Framingham, Massachusetts. I believe the 23rd and 24th. All the information is listed on the website.
That's too many syllables.
Well, it used to be Boston Comic Con. Not Boston Comic Con. It used to be Boston Super Mega Fest. But I don't know exactly why they changed the name. Because this year it was announced as New England Super Mega Fest Comic Con.
Well, they didn't want to be exclusive and make everybody feel like Boston was better, even though Boston is better.
Yeah, that's true. Well, MegaFest, it's a great show. I've always had a good time there. I just feel like they need to expand a little bit, maybe get a bigger spot. Because we used to do, when we were Lockdown Collectibles many years ago, we did that show 3 or 4 years in a row, and we always had a good time. But it was a lot smaller back then.
It's a good show, and you know, from the artist standpoint, it's a pretty good show. If you want to get an artist alley spot, it's just very tight quarters.
Yes.
It's very hard to get space.
But they have some amazing guests there. I remember not last year, the year before, they had Stan Lee.
Yep.
If you can get Stan Lee for your show, then
Yep.
yeah, because I haven't seen Stan Lee at any Comic Cons around here.
I got
But
well, one year Patrick Stewart, Captain
Yep.
Picard was there.
Patrick Stewart or Professor Xavier.
Yeah, or Professor Xavier.
Like Christopher Lloyd was
CIA Director Bullock.
Yep.
from another show.
Or the voice of young Susie Swanson on Family Guy. Patrick Stewart's all over the place. You know, that guy's he's everywhere and he's amazing.
Well, Patrick Stewart is amazing. I have to say though, Family Guy and American Dad, you're trying to tell me that these shows are still on, but Futurama got canceled again?
Yeah.
Really? Is this what the world's coming to?
It's poor priorities, I'm telling you.
Yeah, it really is. Don't get me wrong. I loved Family Guy the first couple seasons, but really? It's like South Park. They're beating the dead horse at this point.
Plus, it's Fox.
A pretty...
Dan, you don't want to get me started on Fox and great shows that they cancel that
no.
should still be around.
I do.
Butterfly. Sorry. Sorry, allergies. But
Fox has got a bigger body count than RoboCop, all right? So.
Oh. Wait, the R-rated RoboCop or the PG-13 rated RoboCop?
The real RoboCop.
RoboCop.
Oh, so RoboCop 3, right? Don't hate me.
We need a
I'm sorry.
snare
Actually, all kidding aside, I actually liked RoboCop 3. RoboCop 2 was actually my favorite, but I actually did enjoy RoboCop 3. But you could tell that they couldn't get Peter Weller back, and you could... Wow. Anyway, they couldn't get Peter Weller back, but you knew, like... yeah, Lois, I mean, she dies in the first,
Yeah, they didn't
half
want
hour. And if you haven't seen the movie, you can play...
Spoiler alert.
Well, if you haven't seen that movie by now, either you're a genius or you have no right to complain to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, but she got
Move the
Lois.
rock.
But that's because when they asked her, hey, can you come back? She said, yeah, I'll come back, but just kill me off.
Yeah.
So, what does
Well,
that tell you?
From what I heard originally, one of the reasons Peter Weller didn't want to come back, besides the fact that they'd already done 2 RoboCop movies and it was pretty much beating a dead horse at this point, that suit, I mean, they didn't have green screen crap back then. Well, they did, but not like they have nowadays. Iron Man is all CG. He's wearing a foam suit. RoboCop was wearing a plastic and metal suit.
Well, the thing is, too, and this is what kind of bugs me, is the way RoboCop 2 ended is they kind of left it open for the sequel. Like,
Kind
they
of a maybe.
the way, because at the end, he's like, oh, patience, Lois, we're only human. So you knew there was going to be another one. Kind of.
But you got to be fair. If Robert Downey Jr. had to wear the real Iron Man suit through that whole movie,
Dude, if he was wearing that suit, he could fly around and shoot stuff. He would love it.
well, that's true.
And can I just say, is there any...
Wait a minute, who wouldn't?
Well, yeah. But that's another thing. Is there anybody in this room who thinks Robert Downey Jr. does not make a great Iron Man? I got silent. So
Cue,
that
cue the
I think
cricket
he was born
noise.
into the role.
I really think he does. Like, there are certain roles that certain people were born... Like, for example, Professor X. Patrick Stewart was born to play that role.
Yeah.
He did Star Trek to get his name out there so he could become Professor X. But I had a friend who said, "Oh, Robert Downey Jr. is a superhero. That's just horrible." I'm like, "Well, you obviously know nothing about Iron Man
No.
because it was perfect."
Ben Affleck as a superhero is just wrong. And I'm not even talking about Batman. I'm still giving him a hard time for Daredevil because how do you screw that up?
Daredevil was not the worst superhero movie I had ever seen.
No, that would be Green Lantern.
Oh, my wife just said you can go into that blind. Anyway, I will. You know what?
Oh.
I'm actually excited for.
We
I'm
need a
excited
snare
for
drum.
Batman for two reasons. One, I mean, Ben Affleck's from Boston, so Boston represent.
Absolutely.
But I feel like he's going to surprise a lot of people. I really think so. Plus.
he's going to do a good job this time?
Hold on.
Well, no. But before you finish, another thing I also just saw yesterday. I don't know who the guy's name was, but they just casted a person for the new Batman Superman movie, and the rumor is that he's playing the Joker. I don't remember his name. I showed you the article last night in the theater, and I don't remember the guy's name. If I find it, I'll post it. But I think he's playing the Joker, and I don't know this guy. I don't know what he's done, but based on the look of him, I think he can do a really good job. But I remember when they said Heath Ledger was playing the Joker, I was like, really? But
I still say David Tennant needs to be the Joker.
well, I actually read an article earlier that said they want Matt Smith to play the Riddler.
That would
Just
be
to
excellent.
throw cosplayers out there, I think Harley's Joker, if you know him, if you follow him on Facebook, I think he would be the perfect choice to play the Joker in a new Batman movie.
I think you would too. I just don't think it's actually going to happen.
No, I agree with you 100% on the Ben Affleck as Batman thing, only because when Heath Ledger got cast to play the Joker, everyone was like, oh, the guy that took it up the A from Jake Gyllenhaal in Brokeback Mountain? Oh, the pretty boy from 10 Things I Hate About You? But you're going to tell me him as the Joker wasn't pretty much the best performance of his career? So I think Ben Affleck's going to
I
come
don't
out and
care what,
surprise
and
everyone.
I don't care what anybody says, because there's a lot of people out there who say, "Oh, the only reason he won all those awards is because he died." No, if he was alive today, he would have won each and every one of those awards because he deserved it.
Before that movie was filmed, he spent an entire month in a hotel room by himself, pretty much, just to get into character.
He wrote a journal in character as a Joker, and I heard they're going to release it. I really hope they do, because I would love to add it to my Joker collection. And I understand I'm biased because I'm a huge Joker fan, but I think he deserved every single award he got. And that's another thing that bugs me, is because Dark Knight Rises, good movie, but it wasn't the movie it was supposed to be.
No. Like, I didn't see the first one all the way through. Like, I've seen it in pieces, but I haven't sat
Wait,
down and
wait,
watched
wait. Are
the
you talking
entire
about Batman Begins or The Dark Knight?
The Batman Begins.
Okay.
But I've pretty much seen all three of them. And I would go as far as say as The Dark Knight was the best one of that trilogy.
Dark
Like,
Knight,
they had big shoes to fill, and they didn't do it.
I would go as far as to say Dark Knight's probably going to go down as one of the greatest superhero movies of all time.
Absolutely.
And next to Avengers. And don't get me wrong, I loved the Avengers, but I think it was Josh Whedon who said it, and I agree with him. Dark Knight is the godfather of superhero movies.
I'm just going to put it out there. My boyfriend's definitely about to break up with me, but I've never seen any of the Avengers movies.
There's only one so far, so it's okay. You're forgiven.
Oh, thank God.
Whoa, wait. Have you seen Iron Man or Thor or anything?
None of them.
Oh, so you haven't seen anything leading up to the Avengers either? That's all right.
You're off this summer. Educate her. And I don't even want to be friends with her until she watches those movies.
But you can't move in with you until this is done.
Yes.
No.
But
No.
but it's one of those things like for example, the two new Star Trek movies. Okay, now there was just a post on Facebook saying that they got a different director for the third one.
Yeah.
And he's gonna make, quote unquote, a Star Trek movie you won't hate. I did not hate those, and I grew up with Star Trek. I watched the original reruns. I'm not that old. Next Generation. I've seen DS9. I've seen Voyager. I've seen all the movies. Yes, I'm a nerd. That's why I'm doing this podcast.
Well, yeah.
But I saw the two new ones, and to me, they summed it up in the first movie. Spoilers. By saying,
Yeah, for those who haven't seen it,
for those who still haven't seen it.
if you haven't seen it by now, you have no intention of seeing it.
But they created an alternate universe.
Yeah.
So the fact that because everybody was pissed about the whole thing in the darkness, about the whole con thing, and it's like, you know something, what are you gonna do? Rehash the same thing all over again? You gotta. It's a brand new universe. Change it up.
Well, that's just, and it's funny because I said when J.J. Abrams made the first movie, and I went and watched it, I was like, wow, he's a genius.
Yes.
Because now he can do whatever he wants, and it doesn't change the continuity of the original. Because for
Exactly.
those of you who don't understand it, Star Trek 2009 Star Trek is not a reboot. Star Trek 2009 is the sequel to Star Trek Nemesis.
Yes.
And like, what are you talking about? Here's what I'm talking about. After Star Trek Nemesis happens, Spock goes back in time, and that creates a parallel universe. So technically speaking, it's not a reboot. It is the sequel.
Yeah.
And the number 2 in Star Trek Into Darkness is the sequel to that.
they're
So
creating-
basically, you have Star Trek, what was 6? I'm trying to remember how many Star Trek. There was Generations was 7, First Contact was 8, Insurrection was 5, and Nemesis. Did I say Insurrection or did I say Nemesis?
You said Insurrection was 5.
Yeah.
No. I mean when I said it was the sequel. I don't know
Star
if
Trek 6,
then Generations,
Generations,
First Contact,
First Contact.
Insurrection, and Nemesis. Star Trek. If I may be correcting myself. If I think I said Insurrection earlier, but Star Trek 2009 is the sequel to Nemesis.
Yes.
If I didn't say that correctly the first time, I apologize, and I'm correcting myself now.
No, you did say that correctly the first time.
I did. All right, I wasn't sure. Well, I'm sure anybody who re-listens to this will be like, "Wait, no, he didn't."
But, I think the bottom line is and this goes for whether you're a cosplayer, whether you're whether you're a comic shop owner, whether you're an artist or anything else.
I love how we mentioned the 3 people who are in this room:
Yeah.
the cosplayer, the comic shop owner, or the artist,
Yeah. But the
and the 2 communists
And the 2
sitting on the couch.
communists. But the bottom line is whatever profession you're in, if you pick something you want, something you want to do bottom line is you're going to run into haters out there, and they're going to hate.
Well, and if I could make this a shirt someday, of course, somebody might rip it off of me. I've always said this, like, the term nerd, I feel like a lot of people don't get it. Like, you go back to high school, like, oh, you're a nerd because you like comic books. It's like, okay, well, you're a nerd because you like sports.
Yeah.
You're a sports nerd. You're a comic nerd. You're a
car nerd.
or a car nerd. I'm a Joker nerd. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like nerd is if you're passionate about something, you're a nerd.
Yes.
Whether it's, like I said, whether it's sports, comics, whatever. But of course, if you're in high school, it's probably not going to help your argument. But it's the same thing.
However, all right, speaking from somebody who grew up in the 80s, went to the school in the 80s, okay, in that generation, we were the outcasts. Given the state of Comic-Cons and everything, now we are the masters.
Well, I know, right? It's so funny. I remember the first time I went to one of those shows, I was like, holy crap, there's more of us than I thought.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We organized, we could take over the world.
And it's funny because some of these nerds, I mean, if we got together, here's the problem with nerds. Nerds,
I will beat you to death by my Force Effects lightsaber.
well, I feel like sometimes the nerd group has the same problem as the rest of the world. Is you like, for example, you got Star Trek fans and Star Wars fans who will kill each other in honor of Star Wars or Star Trek. You know what I mean? You get those fights like, who's better, Deadpool or Deathstroke? Who cares?
Putting Star Wars and Star Trek nerds, especially if there's celebrities involved, in the same room as like putting New York Yankees fans in the same room with Boston Red Sox
Well, you know what
fans.
the funniest part about
Somebody gonna die.
this isn't getting a little off topic, but here's the funny thing because I'm from the Boston area, and here's the funniest part about Boston versus the Red Sox versus the Yankees thing. It's not the players, it's the fans. Like I've seen somebody, I watched a guy at a Metallica concert get beaten nearly half to death because he went there wearing a Yankee shirt. I'm sorry, but really?
He had it coming.
I know, but it's like I'm not.
Who wears a Yankee shirt to a Metallica concert, first of all?
That is true, but it's I remember I had a boss who threatened to fire one of his employees because she went to work wearing a Yankees hoodie.
But
It's like,
to be fair, I've yet, knock on wood, I suppose the night is young, but I've yet to see any Star Wars or Star Trek fans burn down a city because of
the
a
new movie was good or new
but then
movie
again,
sucked.
Star Trek, Episode 7 has not come out yet.
Well,
Star Wars.
But getting back to Star Wars versus Star Trek, I thought this was going to cause the apocalypse. When I heard J.J. Abrams was directing a new Star Wars movie,
Oh boy.
I'm like, whoa, this is like
Yeah, I was investing in helmets.
this is like Jesus and Mary joining a wet T-shirt contest. It's like, whoa, this is going to cause.
And there go our last 2 listeners.
But no, seriously, this is going to cause the end of the world because you have the guy who directed 2 Star Trek movies who's suddenly doing. I'm sorry, the guy who directed 2 Star Trek movies suddenly doing a Star Wars movie. I'm surprised fans didn't burst into flames.
I am waiting though.
They're trying to unite the two cultures now and bring them together.
Oh, they're gonna come together, all right.
But and it's funny because call me a pacifist or whatever. I love Star Wars. I love Star Trek, and whenever somebody says, "Well, which is better?" I'm like, they're 2 completely different things. Star Trek is a positive outlook on the future. Star Wars is a story that happened a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Okay, can I just backtrack for a minute there?
I said pacifist.
All right. I know plenty of people who would call you any number of things. Pacifist is not one of them. All right, but you do have a point. Okay.
To quote Tyrion Lannister, and I'm sure I'm paraphrasing, I wish I was the monster that you people think I am. I really do. I've been called the devil. I have people out there who hate my guts. I'm just like, wow, I wish I was as evil as you made me out to be.
Some of them are in this room.
I was like, if I was as evil as people made me out to be, I'd be the Joker. But the problem, and here's a lot of people don't seem to understand. It's like, oh, when people go and, oh, he's talking smack, or he's doing this, or he's doing that, it's like, I don't care enough to do any of that. Here's what I do. I get up, I go to work, I come home, I do crappy podcasts like this, I look at my Joker collection, I make videos, I go to Comic-Con. That's it. I'm not out to ruin anybody's life because it's not worth it.
I'm out to ruin a few people's lives.
There's plenty of people out there, if they got hit by a bus tomorrow, I'd be like, oh, that sucks. But
again,
seriously?
Getting back to what I was saying, it's the same thing. Whether if you're going to be a cosplayer, if you're going to open up a comic book store, or you're going to throw your art out there, you can't care what everybody else thinks.
Exactly. And this goes to all you cosplayers out there. Let me tell you something.
Amateur or otherwise.
If you come to Comic-Con with a costume that you worked on for weeks, you built from scratch, that's awesome. You do an awesome job and keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
If you come to Comic-Con wearing a paper Iron Man mask and you bought the Iron Man hoodie, that's fine too.
As long as you're having fun.
If you're having a good time, who cares? Because you know something? There's a lot of costumes out there I would love to do. I can tell you right now, I am not going to go and buy, Warbler? Or some of the stuff they use.
Yep.
And I mean no disrespect when I say this because I may be saying it wrong. But I see some of the materials they use, and it was like, that's so cool. If I had the time to do that, I would do that. The closest I ever got to customizing a costume, I bought a Michael Myers mask, a plain white mask, and I did the Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, Michael Myers from the dream scene to get the whole hospital chase. I thought it looked amazing. I painted the blood on myself. I cut out the pieces, and I went to Salem, Massachusetts for Halloween, and I had a lot of people say, "Oh my God, that's absolutely amazing! You did a good job." But I didn't make the mask from scratch. I didn't make the suit from scratch. Just if you're having fun, have fun. Hell, you don't make your costumes from scratch usually, do you?
No, I've never made any of my costumes from scratch. I don't have the talent, and I don't have the time. Like you said, it's one of those things where some people find the time. When Nicole Jean or Destiny Nicholson or Jessica Negri, if they're working on a costume, they don't sleep. You see them at these conventions, and it's like, did you get 45 minutes in last night at least? Did you stop working for a half hour to take a quick nap? Because they don't sleep. They have their day jobs, they have their regular lives, and then they come home and they do all of this amazing work, and they're really, really talented. They do a really great job with it. I don't have that talent. I would love to develop it, but I don't have it. I have never made any of my own costumes. I have people that have done work for me, and that's another thing. That's fine. You don't have the talent. You know somebody that does. They do the costume for you. That's great. Give them the credit if somebody asks about it. You know, my Tim Burton's Doctor idea. Somebody thought it was a really, really great costume when they saw it at Terracon. I gave the credit where it was due. I couldn't remember the guy's name off the top of my head. But it was somebody else's concept. All I did was take my 11th Doctor costume, throw on some face paint to look
Goth it
more
up a little.
gothic and Tim Burton-esque, and that was how that came about. But no, I've never made anything of my own. So like I said, I don't have the time, I don't have the talent, and I find it hard sometimes to find the inclination.
Well, I mean, You were gonna say?
Well, I was just thinking, like, with all the cons that we've gone to, all the Star Wars, the Stormtrooper costumes. All right, now there are some amazing Stormtrooper armor pieces out there. But if you go, I mean, even on eBay, you're talking like a couple $1,000s for these things. And I would love to have a full set of Stormtrooper armor. Okay, but something, and a lot of people are in the same situation. You can't justify, especially when you're trying to pay your bills and you're probably living in an apartment and everything, or in your parents' basement. Nothing wrong with that.
No. Or the second floor of your parents' house, either way.
Guilty. Anyways, but you can't justify spending $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 or more on a full set of Stormtrooper armor, or any kind of armor, whether it's from Battlestar Galactica or whatever, when you got bills to pay.
Yeah.
All right, and that's why if you want to do a Stormtrooper costume, and you buy the kid's Stormtrooper helmet or Clone Trooper helmet, and just make the whole thing out of cardboard, duct tape, or foam, you know what? That's fine.
I had a guy say to me, I wrote on a Comic-Con last year, because I was talking, a guy dressed as Deadpool, really good costume, and you guys saw the costume. I dressed as Deadpool last Halloween, and I got the official mask, looked awesome, I still have it. I got these weird red tights with like black on the interior, and I basically got a black long sleeve shirt, I put a red tank top over it, and I got these black and red mechanics gloves. Not the best Deadpool costume you've ever seen. And I was talking to a guy at Rhode Island Comic Con. I said, I love your costume. He was dressed as Deadpool. I was like, I think you did an amazing job. And we were talking. I was like, yeah, I did it, the Deadpool for Halloween, not as good as yours. And he said to me, it doesn't matter how good it is. If you put the effort in, if you do the personality, get into the character, it doesn't matter what the costume looks like. It's all about what you put into it.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's really cool. I almost wore my Michael Myers costume to Terracon, but it's just such a pain in the butt.
You want to be Darth Vader, and all you can do is strap a light bright to your chest. Hey.
Well, I remember, I felt, I'm trying to remember, something just popped into my head. It was a weird crossover costume I saw at Terracon. I just don't know. I don't remember what it was, but, I'm trying to remember what other Terracon. There was one girl there. She wasn't a, well, I'll call her a cosplayer. She wasn't actually a cosplayer, but she was the Terracon girl there. Yeah. She yeah, it was
Sarah Michelle.
No. That was Lady Terracon or Miss Terracon.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought you were talking about.
The girl who was painted with she had like Terracon written on her back and had like bats.
Oh yes.
Yes, that was amazing work. And it was I don't remember the company's name, but it was a company out of Middleborough that does like face painting and body painting, and they do parties and stuff like that. But she was absolutely amazing job on that. And it was funny because she wasn't a character. She was basically just there promoting her friend's company and promoting Terracon. And I just thought that was absolutely awesome. And like I said before, she wasn't a character. She was just dressed, painted up to be Terracon girl,
Well, the whole body paint thing's really getting big in the costume.
There are some conventions, and I'm not going to say whether or not I support this or not, but there are some conventions that say body paint is an acceptable covering.
I'm going to support it.
I really think it depends. It depends on what else you're using to cover. I think body paint alone, not really acceptable. It's, if you have the confidence to make your costume primarily body paint, by all means, knock yourself out. But I don't think I'm ever going to show up dressed as Dr. Manhattan at, Boston Comic-Con or New York Comic-Con unless I'm wearing that black, lower body covering, because that's just never going to happen.
Please don't. I mean, you're a friend, but there's some things I don't need to see.
Yeah.
But, it's funny because I remember watching Watchmen, and I just remember it's like, holy crap, it's big blue penis guy. But, but anyway, it's one of those things where I understand, oh yeah, technically it works as a covering, but it's like, yeah, I still think you're crossing the line.
I also
I
think
feel like
it depends on what kind of convention. Now, like if you take Rock and Shock in October.
Yeah.
Now, Rock and Shock, it says right on the thing that it is a
18 plus
adult-oriented convention.
Yeah.
Because having been there 1 year, I can tell you that those costumes, walk the edge of risque and then jump straight off it.
Yeah, I mean, but I feel like you need Comic-Con is not the place for it.
No.
It really is,
That's for all ages.
Exactly. I had a buddy who brought both of his kids there, and it's like, you know what? You don't need to. There are certain things you don't need to say. Now, there are some things I have seen where it doesn't bother me, but unfortunately, you do have people out there who, don't want to see it. But I also feel like there should be a line.
Oh,
I'm not an old fuddy duddy, But
personally, if you're offended, I'll be the first one to say if you get offended by certain stuff. Especially when it comes to that,
that's your problem.
Yeah, that's your problem.
You know
However,
what I mean?
we're talking kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like for example, this podcast here. I told you I said before we did this, I don't think we should go on here and swear and say F this and F that. You know what I mean? I try to keep this as civil as I can. I mean, I could do a podcast that basically is us just swearing up a storm, but I'd rather not because when we get our company off the ground, I want people of all ages to be able to enjoy it, and
exactly.
I don't want to separate anybody. I don't want to say, oh no, I don't want kids in there because we swear a lot. No, that's not how I do business.
I've drawn plenty of pieces, some commission stuff that 18 plus. Okay?
Yeah, but you don't bring that to a show and show it off. It's like, hey, look.
I went to Rhode Island when I had my booth at Rhode Island Comic Con. Okay, 2013. The Harley Quinn. Okay.
Which one?
The one.
New 52 or the
New 52 Harley.
Yeah.
Now that one got risque, but
yeah, but it was covered. Because
Exactly.
I remember we actually had this conversation before TerraCon because there was one print you did. It was like some cyber girl,
yeah,
and you could see nipples.
Yes.
And I said, maybe we shouldn't bring that one just because I don't want.
yeah.
I don't want not necessarily offend. I just feel like I don't know if there's going to be kids there. I mean, it was a horror themed convention, but you know something, I don't want to turn people away because there's stuff you see there. Like I saw a figure that was Chastity, the vampire.
Yes.
Yeah. And you could remove the clothes. I mean, they weren't removed, but I see some of the stuff there, and it's like. But I also have a policy when it comes to, I have no problem selling stuff like that. I don't care what you do when you buy it. Like when we used to, when we did Lockdown, we had a lot of anime girl figures and stuff like that. And I have a very don't ask, don't tell policy.
Yeah.
If you buy it, I don't care what
By
you
that
do with
we
it.
mean whatever you do. Don't tell me what you're gonna do with it.
I mean,
buy it. Give me the money.
If you want to buy a little figure because it's an attractive girl and you want it, go ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, I have a whole shelf full of Harley Quinns. And one of my favorites is the new 52 Harley Quinn statue. I was like, holy crap, she looks incredible. I have the new 52 Harley tattooed on my arm because I thought she looked incredible.
Yeah.
But it's like I said, I don't care. You're going to buy it, do what you want with it.
Same with me. Somebody asked me to draw something.
And Dan here as an artist, he's got some pretty weird requests in the past.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Like I said, as long as you pay for it, I'll draw it.
If you ever want to see how weird people are, just go on DeviantArt and just type in something simple like the girls from Frozen. And some people take it to a whole new level that it just doesn't need to go to.
That was, because I did, of course, me and every other artist out there, I did a Frozen print.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think it came out nice, and I tried to do it
classy,
elegant, because I saw the movie. I took my girlfriend to see it, and it was a cute movie, but you punch it in on some of these art websites, and it's like, holy crap. Guys, come on.
If there's a sick thought out there, somebody's put it on paper.
Oh, yeah, I know. Well, go on DA and type in My Little Pony.
Oh,
You'll regret it.
Or if you just go on Google and type in He-Man.
Oh, God, no. Never do that. Always type in Masters of the Universe.
Let me tell you this. You won't get the Masters of the Universe.
No. If you're looking for He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, include
Masters of the Universe. Yes.
Or have a computer you can shut off real quick.
Yeah, with parental controls on it or something like that.
Nice.
So.
Set your parental controls to high. Oh.
But so when are you gonna make a Facebook page?
I don't know. I'm working on that. I'm gonna probably post something looking for name suggestions and whatnot.
I honestly think you should just name it The Doctor.
How long has this been going for? Over an hour. Over an hour?
But I think
editing.
Wrap it up.
But no, I think you should just put it as The Doctor, or even just like I don't know, Dr. Brian or I feel, God, I mean, since I met you, I feel like the only costume you've really done, other than the Doctor, is CM Punk.
Dr. Punk.
Yeah, there you go, Dr. Punk. Or for those of you who are
D-Punk.
for those of you who have been listening, Walking Dead enthusiast Philip Brooks, or Mr. AJ Lee, or I think
The
that's
man
all.
who has no name.
Who I pray to God does come back someday. He's still one of my favorites. I don't care what really happened in that room with Vince McMahon and Triple H. I want him to come back because the show has not been the same without him. I like Daniel Bryan, but he's not CM Punk. I like Roman Reigns, but he's not CM Punk. You know? So, and there's John Cena, who, for the sake of time, I don't really want to talk about.
See, I'm still getting used to all these people. I grew up with Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior and Andre the Giant, and yes, I'm old.
Yes. I also want to say rest in peace, Ultimate Warrior. You will duly be missed.
Yeah, he will.
I grew up with all those same guys. I still remember Demolition, the Bushwhackers, Million Dollar Man. Ted
Suddenly, I don't feel
DiBiase.
so old. I got somebody around here who's almost as old as I
The Road Warriors.
Oh.
What was it? The Road Warriors. Do you remember Stunning Steve Austin?
No, see,
The WCW Stunning. Back when Stone Cold Steve Austin had hair.
Yeah.
Long blonde locks with Brian Pillman.
and back when Hulk Hogan still didn't.
I know. Did
He-
Hulk Hogan
no, he
ever
didn't.
have hair?
No, he had a bandana. and
I
that's
will give
all he
Shawn
needed.
Michaels credit. He did not join the Hulk Hogan hair club.
No.
He almost did it because he actually has a piece of hair on top, but he has like a bald spot that makes like a U, but he still has hair in the front, so he just keeps the whole top tied up. So yeah, he did not join the Hulk Hogan hair club. Very few people have. But
So, I think we've covered everything
I think we covered everything we want to cover.
in this podcast. Next time we will have a little bit more of.
Well, I feel like we need something more to talk about.
an
I talked about
agenda.
everything I wanted to talk about this time. I wanted to talk about the CM Punk situation. I wanted to talk about Terracon and cosplays in general. I'm hoping to do this at least once a month, if I can get these people together. You know, something you want to add?
Well, I just wanted to say, if we're on the subject of Hulk Hogan's hair, we've definitely run out of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Yeah, it does get to a point. So
Well, we
I
can talk
mean,
about Dan's Deadpool shirt, or your Guns N' Roses shirt, or my Avengers shirt,
Yeah,
which came from Florida.
apparently.
It was purchased at Disney World, although I was not the one who purchased it.
Well,
Dan's Deadpool shirt was purchased at Walmart.
$3.
$3. And I have no idea where you bought that. Probably Target, yeah.
Sorry.
Guns N' Roses. Another band back in the days of old.
Yeah. So this is, I think, the point where we've run out of.
Yeah, I
topics.
think we're done.
Next
If
time
you're still listening to this at this point, bless you.
we will have more of like an agenda next time, like something
Yeah,
planned out. Like,
hopefully. I mean, honestly, you should have been here for the conversations we were having before I hit record.
oh yeah.
Because I was actually one of us who said, why didn't we just hit record an hour ago? This would have been
And
hilarious.
just know that when you're listening to this, it's already probably been through the editing, so you're only
Yeah,
getting
and
the tip of this iceberg.
please, of course, I shouldn't be saying this at the end of the show. I probably should at the beginning. Turn up the volume. I have no idea how loud this is going to be. So when I post it on the website, you're going to have to probably turn it up as loud as you can to
Or
hear it.
down.
If you hear us laughing for no reason, it's probably because one of the people off the side said something funny, but you couldn't hear it in the microphone.
Yeah. And any
So-
suggestions, anything,
Yeah, if there's something you want us to talk about or
Yeah.
cover,
or if you want us to stop talking.
yes. My plan is I want to talk about whenever we do a convention or show, I want to get on here and talk about it. We will, like I said, we will not be at Boston Comic Con. I hope to maybe get a chance to go, but I think I'm actually working that weekend. But I know Brian here is going, so worst case scenario, we can get him on here to give his take on Boston Comic Con. I want to do one about South Coast because that's always a great show. It's like I said, it's a small show, but you should really check it out. It's in Fairhaven. It's from 10 to 5, August 2nd, which is a Saturday. But it's just it's a fun show.
And we will have the info for that show and any other shows we're doing on the websites.
www.onthehuntcomics.com in the show section.
And you can also find info on the shows and other things we're doing at facebook.com.
On the Hunt Collectibles or FOE19.
And we both post on those regularly. And maybe we can get
Our
the
logo-
doc to here to make a
to make a Facebook page so
or
people
just
can follow him
like
too.
a cosplaying
Get on that.
page.
Yeah, you do that. But if you find another On the Hunt one, please let me know. And do not, for the love of God, do not go to onthehunt.com. It is an amateur gay porn site. So unless you're into that kind of stuff, that is why we're on onthehuntcomics.com.
If you like that stuff,
If you like that stuff, go for it.
All right.
But that's why I do not own the rights to that
you're
name.
not there.
Yeah. But our logo, it's basically it shows like a magnifying glass. It says On the Hunt, Collectibles. So if you find that on Facebook or the website, you've come to the right place.
And FOE Studios is basically just FOE in red letters, falling apart studios.
Yeah, there's a little 19 in the E, and it should be 2 characters. If you remember the old, there was a show on YouTube. It was brought to you by Maestro65, which is my YouTube channel. It was called Twitch.
Yep.
If you watch it, once again, bless you. There was, I don't know how many. There was probably like 9 or 10 episodes.
Yeah,
you can actually, all the episodes are actually on the FOE Studios page on thehuntcomics.com. So if you want to check them out, go ahead. I actually provided the voices for all the characters, but they were drawn by FOE Studios and Dan here.
Yep.
Except for there was one episode my wife did a voice of some annoying girl in the theater. But yeah. So that's my voice work talent. If you want to check that out, other than these podcasts. But
in case you didn't figure it out after, if you've actually continued to listen to the end of this podcast, you figured it out by now. We ain't professionals.
No. And if you do watch the Twitch episodes, watch episode 2, Blackout. It's my personal favorite, and it's also one of the most popular ones. Out of all the ones I posted on YouTube, this one had the most views out of all of it.
Least animation
had the most views, and it just seems to be everybody's favorite. So if you, like I said, they're all on the FOE 19 page on onthehuntcomics.com if you want to check them out, or under Maestro65 on YouTube with a whole lot of tribute videos that you probably won't like, and videos of my cat because I'm that guy. You want to add anything before we?
I got nothing left now.
Okay, so we're gonna.
I think we established
we're gonna
topics.
We're gonna make some quesadillas and drink some beer. Hulk Hogan's awesome. Remember that. And yeah, I think that's it. So, like I said, if you're still listening, thanks for listening, and hopefully we'll have another one of these next month. So, you all set, Dan?
Yeah. Peace.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye.